Your Philadelphia 76ers are officially one win or one loss by either one of the Bucks or the Nets or both of them, whatever. But will one game, be it a win or someone else's loss, we are one game away from officially clinching the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. And I know Western Conference, a Nugget fan, let's be real, it would be like, oh, it's the East, it's weak. I know it's weak. I made so many comments about this pathetic conference, and clinching the number one seed is the most important thing of this entire year once we got to this point, because, you know, Bradley Beal went down. You never want to see that. But now that he went down, even the Wizards, they were looking super scary. Like, oh my God, if they were the AC because of the play-in tournament, the Wizards could be this type of team that could push you 6, maybe even, God forbid, a game 7 because of what Russell Westbrook does with his speed and his athleticism. But now that Bradley Beal's gone, it's the Wizards, the Pacers, the Hornets. Jaylen Brown's out for the year. Who cares? Who cares? We could sum up the first round with those 2 words. Who cares? I think, at the worst, maybe 5 games. But I think you'll probably sweep the first round. I don't mind that it's a cookie cutter Eastern Conference. I really don't. Especially when you're the team that's the cookie cutter. Do you know how long I've waited for this day? For the Philadelphia 76ers, for our Philadelphia 76ers to be the number one team in the Eastern Conference. And then ultimately at the end of the playoffs, hopefully the number one team in the NBA. Do you want to know how long I waited for that moment? I was a fan starting from age 9. You know, I saw a 6-pound, 175-pound, pound-for-pound beast on the court. And he inspired me. He inspired a lot of kids in my generation who are now adults. We'll never forget seeing a little undersized man lace it up and just go pound for pound with some of the giants. He got me into basketball. And then the sport itself gravitated to me. And it became this obsessed love between the game of basketball and myself. And for a long while, you know, for what seemed like an eternity, when Allen Iverson was traded to the Denver Nuggets in one of the worst trades in Sixers history, no youth, a 32-year-old Andre Miller, and you don't even pawn off Andre Miller. Man, as far as decision-making, the upper echelon of the Sixers front office, you know, it was what it was. Even through the process, you burned through 1,000,000 picks, made not a single good one of them except the only pick that mattered. 2 picks. This is a good video. We're not going to go into that one. But the one pick, and maybe the only pick that ever mattered, with the 3rd pick of the 2014 NBA draft, the Sixers select Joel Embiid. This video of we will clinch the number one seed now that it's one game. They're not going to go, 0 for 4. Come on now. I mean, not going wood, but I heavily doubt it. At this point in the season, with where we've been and the quality of opponent too, Indiana, Miami, Orlando twice. So you're gonna get this win. One way or the other. You're gonna get this win. But we're here. I want everyone to remember this. We are here for one sole reason. We are here because of Joel Embiid. We are here at the number one seed in the Eastern Conference because of Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid deserves to be the MVP for this reason alone. We went from the 6th seed last year to the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. Number 1. And let me put that transformation of this team and this season into its proper context. We traded Al Horford, you could see my video reaction for that one. Thank freaking God. We traded it for Danny Green, who, Danny Green is who he is. He's a spot-up corner shooter at 37%, who is a solid defender as long as you don't screen him and as long as you don't ask him to chase some hyperactive guard or whatever who's running around, because he doesn't have that speed. But if you put Danny Green on single coverage, he's still got it in single coverage, just not off-ball screen defense. We literally saw that earlier this year. So, like, for example, when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets series, Danny Green, you can put him on a Kyrie Irving and it's effective. Just don't put him on a James Harden. Don't put him on a Kevin Durant. Don't put him on a Joe Harris. Don't put him on someone who they're going to screen off of him. Just put him on a kind of guard or something where he doesn't get exposed with the screens and you'll be fine. But Danny Green has really come around defensively and offensively a little bit in terms of, every now and then hitting a little runner, every now and then dribbling the ball even though it makes you cringe and even though you're like, no. Yes, but he's finding a way to be productive through 4 quarters, which is nice to have. You want your starters in the ideal world to find a way to be productive in 4 quarters of the game. You're playing your starters more than 3/4 of the game, so they better damn straight be productive. And Danny Green, he was especially high on the West Coast trip. We don't get this number 1 seed without Danny Green in the Laker game just coming up alive and literally saving everything. That game, Reggie Miller tried to turn it into the Ben Simmons game with 7 turnovers the night. No, it was the Danny Green game with 26 points in that game. Sorry, that was the Danny Green night, not the 7 turnover game night. Oh, I swore I was going to be positive, but then thinking about what Danny Green had done for us reminded me when Reggie Miller tried to give Ben Simmons all the credit. But Danny Green, give him a great game. It's like, no. No, So Danny Green had been awesome at the second half of the year onward. Winning my praise after stinking it up the first 15 games of the year. Props to Danny Green. Seth Curry, we trade Josh Richardson and the second round pick, which ended up being Theo Maldion. That one might bite us a little bit because Theo Maldion had more upside than Seth Curry. But if we win a championship, I would say all is good. Because Seth Curry had been, especially last 5 games, Seth Curry has returned to pre-COVID January Curry. Where I was thinking, 10 games of the season, I'm like, holy shit, is Seth Curry making a run for an all-star appearance? Is Seth Curry trying to challenge at the very least for a bench role in the all-star game? Because Seth Curry, in January, he was just incredible. And then he gets COVID. And then for the rest of the year, it felt like you were getting what I thought of Seth Curry before the year. Which was, he might hit a couple of feeds, but he's a spot shooter. It's like, come on. Starters Shake Milton, who has not been good this year. And, start the young Tyrese Maxey. I'm going to get that video up. Tyrese Maxey, I feel like people need to understand how fast Tyrese Maxey is progressing. Tyrese Maxey, what he was 2 months ago and what he is now. Thank you, George Hill. That's another thing while we're celebrating this number 1 seed. Everyone wanted a Kyle Lowry. I was in on the Kyle Lowry thing. I still think the Sixers need a top-of-the-line guard, but the situation is different. What do I mean by the situation being different? The top-of-the-line guard, the live ball guard, might be on the roster next year. Insert Tyrese Maxey. I don't want to trade Tyrese Maxey for Kyle Lowry. That would be stupid now. Kyle Lowry's going to be 35. Tyrese Maxey's going to be 21. We're talking 14 years. 14 years. Tyrese Maxey has a chance to be a 76er for at least another 5, 6, 7 years. And then it'd be really because of the player I think he is, you'll definitely sign that extension. So for 10 plus years, you could have an elite guard. And you would trade that for a 35-year-old? No. Tyrese's stock has never been higher, in my opinion, because he has shown this upside before. But things have changed in the way he's showing it. You saw that crossover for the dunk. Just that sharp turn of the body, and it's like, that was Gilbert Arenas. To see Tyrese Maxey develop that change of direction, that's what I want to thank George Hill for. George Hill was in his ear, and he's like, dude, you're super fast, you're super quick. If you learn how to go slow to quick instead of quick all the time, you have the potential to really be a monster in this league. And so that veteran experience, the veteran knowledge from George Hill, I said this a couple of videos, and I'll show it with the tape. Tyrese Maxey, learning from George Hill, elevated his game to another level. As a playmaker, as a scorer, as a finisher at the rim, Tyrese Maxey is taking what George Hill was telling him and applying it to the court. And that is super exciting. Because before, he was going on it, like Tobias Harris said, no real training camp. A week and a half. I'm not even going to call that training camp. I'm not even going to call it preseason. 2 preseason games. No summer league. No NCAA tournament. The dude basically wasn't playing competitive basketball for 8 months. Wasn't really being coached for 8 months. Chris Johnson, your trainer. Not going to put any dish on him. He's a great trainer. Great preparation guy. I'm just saying there's a difference between, a guy working you out one-on-one, and then you got scouts, you got your coaches, you got your system, So, to just go from that uncoordinated environment, I guess that's the word I want to use, the uncoordinated environment of your one-on-one trainer and the coordinated environment of Doc Rivers, Sam Cassell, Dave Yeager, Popeye Jones. To go from that to that, it was already productive. But then to have a veteran like George Hill really give his wisdom, elevated it to a new level. And that video is going to come out. It might come out even a couple hours from now, because I'll just take a couple of clips to show what I mean. I just wanted to get this video out there to celebrate the fact that we are one game from clinching the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. So, I thank Danny Green for his contributions. I thank Seth Curry for his contributions. And I thank George Hill for the veteran voice. And also, it isn't just the veteran voice. George Hill has added to that bench rotation. I thought that we really needed him in the starting lineup, for reasons that we all know about at this point. But I feel like Tyrese Maxey will fill that role next year. But what George Hill has done for the second unit, his 6'4" body with his 6'9" wingspan has given us an elite defender. It has allowed us to play him almost, not even just as a guard, but he can guard some small forwards with his wingspan. So he's been able to guard twos, he's been able to guard some threes, he's been able to guard ones. So George Hill is giving you a lot of versatility defensively in that lineup. And then Matisse Godbull, Bleibel, Awesome Bull, Matisse Bleibel, his defense has improved. I think I may have made a video on it, on my issues with Matisse Bleibel at times defensively, where it's like, dude, you're playing for the ball too much. Just be okay with, I'm there. I'm in position to contest. If a shot goes up, it might go in, it might go out. But it's better that you put a hand up than it is if you foul a guy. Now, that doesn't take away from your free safety ability on the basketball court to be able to go from one area of the court to the next and to just literally have 5 steals. That doesn't take away from it, but how to pick and choose. And while we're giving credit to George Hill, the teacher, he was in Matisse's ear about that. How to pick and choose, and how to just be in position with your team defense and man defense principles. And just like Tyrese Maxey is taking that to heart, Matisse Bleibel has also taken that to heart. And he was already a great defender, but now he's learning how to be a great NBA defender. See, there's a difference between being a great defender and being a great NBA defender. And now Tyrese Maxey really did have a great defensive tape, and I'll show that too. But I was saying that Matisse Bleibel is developing into a great NBA defender, not just a great defender. That sounds like a caveat, but it was a really big one, and I am super happy that Matisse has made that leap. And not only has he made that leap, he's made that leap guarding power forwards. So we're now running a 3-guard lineup of George Hill, Shake Milton, and Furkan Korkmaz, along with Matisse Thybulle and Dwight Howard. Now, about this second unit, there is very late competition because of what Tyrese Maxey is doing right now. Because Tyrese Maxey is doing this, and because Shake Milton is laying an egg, the conversation is now becoming, which guard would you rather have in the second unit? Like, Shake Milton is obviously a better shooter, but Tyrese Maxey is a better ball handler and a better decision maker, by far, and a way better defender. So that's going to be a competition in these next 3 games, presuming that we win against Indiana, which we should. We had the comeback against Indiana the first time, absolutely demolished them the second time. They have no one that could guard Joel Embiid. They have no one that could guard Tobias Harris. So I expect us to go in, win this game, and then the next 3 games is going to be a big bench battle. This is great for Doc Rivers to really define that bench. He will now get the opportunity to play that second unit exclusively and to find out, okay guys, playoff minute times, which one of you are going to be good enough on a consistent basis, because this isn't just 1 game, this is going to be 3 games. So now he gets the opportunity to say, which one of you can play 20, 25 minutes a night if you have to consecutively in the NBA? Which one of you can be in the NBA playoff rotation, be it against even the Nets if necessary? Which one of you can I trust in the 7-game series no matter what the situation? You're going to be able to find that out now because you got games that you can play with. Because you're already number 1 seed. Whether you win them or lose them, it doesn't matter. So, this is great for Doc. This is great for the bench. Maybe not so much for the starters because, you definitely aren't going to get that time. I think they'll get some. It'll be like a regular NBA preseason where you might see some starters getting 10, 15 minutes just to keep their joints up. I don't think you'll sit them all free because what will end up happening a little bit is that at that point you wouldn't have played for about like 12 days. And I remember when we won that Miami Heat series 2 years ago and we had 6 days off before playing the Boston Celtics? Now I'll qualify it by saying this. Doc Rivers is a way better head coach than Matt Brown ever was by leaps and miles. But still, 6-day off layoff, I feel like that played a bit of a factor in what ended up happening in that series. So, you want your guys to get opportunities, to get their muscles in order, to get their juices flowing. So you might see, instead of them completely sitting out, maybe they only play the first quarter, maybe they play half of a quarter, something like that to just keep them in to, get them some juice, to get them ready for the playoffs. But in conclusion, I'm just so pumped that we are 1 game away from clinching this, that we, at this point, are officially the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and that the real season begins now. The 72-game season was fun. It's always fun. Every regular season is fun. It's fun to react. But if you think that we reacted to this, it is another thing with the playoffs. Because this is the most crucial playoffs ever. This is the playoffs where we have to take it. We have to take these playoffs. We have to take the playoffs. We have to at least go to the Eastern Conference Finals. And if you get the Eastern Conference Finals, do our damnedest to win that series. Get the NBA Finals. At that point, it's house money. But we want to at least win 2 rounds. Anything short of that, everyone already knows. I think everyone in the Philadelphia sport will know what's going to happen should we fall short? Should we fall short? You have to make that decision. Because Joel Embiid is one of the greatest players of all time. And it's about the supporting cast around Joel Embiid. If this cast doesn't work, on to the next cast. And on to the next cast until it does work. Because you already got your Hall of Fame caliber player. You need to build around him. And we're not doing the Iverson thing all over again. So from this moment on, now that Joel Embiid put himself in this conversation, from this year onward, every team that fails to win around Joel Embiid, there is a real high probability that you're going to move those pieces. Obviously, continuity is a factor, etc. But winning around Joel Embiid is the goal. There's no point to continuity for an inferior player that doesn't fit next to Embiid, whoever that may be. If you can't fit next to Joel, and if we aren't where we think we should be with a franchise Hall of Fame center, you probably are going to end up having to pack your bags in Philadelphia. That is what it is. It is what it is. So, what this playoffs is all about, and what all the other playoffs are going to be about in the Embiid era, you find out your mistakes, and you also found out the truth that Embiid is the only one you build around. From this offseason, every other offseason moving forward, if you're not up to snuff for playing with Embiid, the front office's first primary decision is going to be to move on. So, that's it. You change the coach, you change the roster. Now it's up to the players. So now it's up to you guys. You have to go in and you have to execute. If not, hey, not my problem. And you got paid, so you don't care if you pay you pay Los Angeles. It is what it is. So let's hope that our guys execute and we don't have to overhaul. But if we do fail, just know that we're going to overhaul because we ain't wasting Embiid's prime. We're not about that. Sixer Universe. Let's get this.